The fluorescent light above the pump hums a dissonant B-flat, flickering against the grime on Ben's knuckles. He stares at the crumpled $20 bill in his palm, the difference between a full tank and a quiet house. In the diner window, a woman's shadow breaks. A single, sharp sob. At first light, the bay door rattles up on tired rollers. Cold air drifts through the shop, carrying wet asphalt and old diesel. Ben sets Lily's lunchbox beside the parts washer, then hears the idle outside, new half-ton pickup, factory stock, no belt squeal, no exhaust leak. The woman from the diner steps out in a charcoal coat, hair pinned back, eyes steadier than the night before. She looks at the hand-painted sign above the bay, then at him. "I'm Claire Hargrove." Ben wipes his hands on a grease-smudged rag. She slides a key fob onto the bench. "I need one day. Just your eyes." The test facility sits behind the main plant like something kept out of family photographs, faded block walls, wired glass, an old dyno cell with oil sunk deep into the concrete. Ben doesn't touch the clipboard waiting for him. He listens first. A cold start. 2 revolutions, then catch. The engine settles into a rough idle no report had any right to call normal. Ben steps closer, eyes narrowed at the exhaust plume. One injector is hazing heavier than the rest. Not enough for a trainee to notice. Enough for him. He kills the run, pulls the front cover, and turns the assembly by hand. His thumb pauses on faint witness marks along the timing gear face. Not fresh. Repeated contact. He leans under the mount, feels the tremor through the frame rail, then looks up at Claire. This vibration isn't from where? Claire studies him, then the old sign-in board on the wall. His name is still there beneath a layer of dust. He says nothing. He doesn't need to. The conference room smells of burnt coffee and fresh lacquer on a table too expensive for the men sitting around it. Through the glass, the dyno cell waits in silence. A man in a navy suit stands when Ben walks in. Silver watch. Clean nails. The kind of posture that comes from years of speaking before anyone else can. "Ben Mercer," he says, like he's reading an old defect tag. "Didn't know we were bringing in roadside charity cases." Claire doesn't sit. "This is Daniel Voss. Operations." Ben recognizes the voice before the face settles into place. 15 years older, 30 pounds softer, same habit of smiling with only one side of his mouth. Voss taps the failure report. Engines age. Components drift. That's machinery. Nostalgia won't change the numbers. Ben takes the packet, flips past the summary, and leaves it closed. He looks instead at the people around the table, the lead calibration engineer, purchasing, plant accounting. He lets the silence drag long enough for chairs to creak. Then he says, "I'll need machining logs. Supplier lot records on the thrust washers and timing sets. Calibration revisions for the last 18 months. Original sign-off sheets too." Voss folds his arms. "For what?" Ben sets the packet down square with the table edge. "To see where it went out of line." No one speaks. Purchasing drops a pen. Back in the teardown bay, the noise thins to hand tools and the tick of cooling manifolds. Ben lays the parts out in order on brown paper, rockers, pushrods, thrust washers, each one turned to catch the light. A micrometer clicks softly in his fingers. Claire stands beside the scarred bench, coat off now, sleeves rolled once. Lily appears in the doorway after school, backpack hanging low. Ben slides her a stool with his boot without looking up. Routine. "See this polish here," he says, showing Claire the washer face. Load found the gap. Claire watches father and daughter share apple slices, saying nothing. By noon the dyno room is full, board members in pressed wool, line workers with folded arms, Voss near the control glass, jaw working on nothing. Ben mounts the dial indicator, zeroes it against the crank snout, then nods for the operator to bring the engine under load. At 1800 RPM, the exhaust note hardens. The needle starts to walk. End play, Ben says. He cuts fuel, lays 2 documents on the steel cart. Original spec. Revised spec. Voss's signature at the bottom of the second. Thrust clearance opened by 3 thousandths. Supplier changed the washer alloy that same month. Then a calibration revision, advanced timing at mid-load, just enough to stack heat and harmonics where the weakened parts would carry it. Ben places the blued thrust washer beside the purchase order and the false sign-off sheet. This wasn't where, he says. The room holds still. You moved the tolerances until failure looked natural. No one turns toward Ben. They turn toward Voss. The plant feels different at sunset, the industrial roar settling into a steady, intentional hum. Claire hands Ben a set of keys, the heavy brass kind that open the main gates. His name is already back on the roster, not as a memory, but as the lead of standards. Ben stops by the old dyno one last time. He picks up a stray washer, feeling the weight of the steel. In an engine, like a life, you can't force the fit, you have to find the truth of the alignment. Lily takes his hand. They walk toward the light. Everything is finally back in line.